What is your leader life story? Does your life story define your self-identity, your self-concept? This is today's episode. Today's episode on Executives After Hours, a leadership perspective, is about the role that life stories play in defining a leader. So I'm doing some research for a book that I have coming out. It's a companion book to the book that I wrote previously, The Crucible's Gift, 5 Lessons from Authentic Leaders Who Thrive in Adversity. So this is a workbook that goes with that. And I was doing some deep diving in some different topics that I want to bring out in this book. And this idea of the life story, to me, just jumped out at me. And it made me realize that there are these 4 parts, these 4 ideas or concepts, if you will, from the idea of a leader's life story. The first one is the natural leader. The story of the natural leader. Can you tell yourself a story about over time how you've always been in a leadership position? If you can, then that works out fantastic for you because you are actually more rare than the norm at this point. But the second type are the leaders who become a leader because of a cause. And so their life story is developed by a cause. A great example of this is Jay Scott, the co-director of Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation. Go Google it. Incredible story about his daughter who passed away with cancer. But that was his cause. That was his moment to become a leader. He had been a leader in other ways in his life, but this particular cause really catapulted him. The third one is your leadership story based on experiences? Now, these type of leaders typically acquire experiences. They aren't always seen as a natural leader. There's usually a lot of failure in those experiences as well. And so these leaders, their natural life story to become seen as an authentic leader is really predicated on the idea of experiences, different places, different contexts, and this really stretches them as individuals and helps them bring on new ideas. It helps stretch their self-concept, or fill it out, if you will. But the last one, which is the one that speaks most to me, is the idea of leaders' life story based out of moments of struggle. So in my parlance, that is about the crucible. And this is what I find fascinating. This idea that we all have a life story in our leadership journey. And so I would ask you this week to kind of go back and give yourself a bit of a narrative about your own leadership journey. Have you always been the natural leader who's kind of been in those places at the right time? Are you the leader that came to be because of a cause, a moment in time that made you pivot and give you purpose and a mission? Are you a leader that gained this idea or concept of leadership through successes and failures? Or, as I like to say, successes and opportunities to be more successful? Or finally, are you a leader who really is developed out of these adversity moments? Is that your life story? Once you can figure out and attach yourself to a life story, then and only then can you start to understand and get congruence around the idea of who your self-concept is and what you stand for as an individual. So, all right, till next week, everyone, please subscribe on YouTube, go to my website, www.drjameskelley.com, and I will talk to you later.
You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Just believe it.